Hey, I've come up with another PDO exception and I'd like to show you how to debug that, just to make sure that you can really see how this approach I'm using, how you can use that in your own code examples when you come across PDO exceptions. So I'm working on my social network here and I'm working on posts. And let's see if I can insert a post through the form. I cannot. I get a fatal error. It's a PDO exception. It's something to do with SQL state again, and it happens in my post table class in line 18. My post table class, line 18. So I suspect there will be an SQL error somewhere in here. And to confirm, I want to echo it out, just like I did before in the previous video on debugging. And if I do that, you'll see that there are these two question marks here. And I'd like to replace these question marks with the actual values used by PHP when it sends the SQL to MySQL to have the SQL executed. So what are those values really used here? To get those values, I can go and replace some textual pattern, for example, a question mark with the ID in SQL. But if I do that, I get the same value twice. I'd be using the ID to replace both question marks, and that's not really what I want. I want ID to replace the first question mark and post to replace the next. I could do that if I move underneath my data array here. I could say for each item in my data array, let's call it value, for each one of those, I want to replace the question mark with a value in SQL, and I want to make one replacement. So what happens here is that however many question marks I've got, they should be matched by my items in the data array. So I loop through every item in the data array and replace the first item with the first question mark and the next item with the next question mark, and so on and so forth. I make one replacement in each iteration. So at the end of the loop, I should have an SQL statement where all question marks are replaced by the values from the data array. Let's take a look at that. So here we are. Insert into poser user ID content values 13 testing posts again. Just as before. Once I've got the correct SQL in my browser, I can copy it, paste it into PHP MyAdmin's SQL tab. Just one word of notice: if you've got strings, you're going to have to wrap those in single or double quotes manually. Let's run this code in SQL in PHP MyAdmin to get the SQL error here, and the error is that the table poser doesn't exist. which is obviously because I made a typo. The tuple is really called post. Let's just check. There we are. If I use post, I no longer get the error. There it was. So the code I used to debug this is a loop that loops through every item in my data array and incrementally replaces question marks with the used values. So I get the I get to see the SQL actually used by MySQL. So there you are. A couple of examples on how you can debug PDOExceptions. And let me just double check here that I do in fact get to be able to insert posts. I do. It works. Excellent. Thanks for watching.